Years before Shanto, Brian had learned to sail on a little 23-foot hunter. One of our first dates was on this boat. I'm thinking that was more of a test than a date, though.
Hold it. And then once we get going fast enough, we're gonna tack.
Ah!
Ready? Here, we'll use this to give us a little more. You ready?
Oh my god, yep,
Tack
ready.
it. Tack it. All right. Pull that. There you go. Tighten it up. There we go.
Brian had opened my eyes to sailing, and soon that thing and what's-it-doodles became shrouds and sheets, and ropes became lines.
The sideways makes me nervous. Do I let it out?
Okay.
Do I do it?
If you want, you can let that out. Just watch your fingers.
Okay, but I let it out a little, right?
Yeah, let it out some. There we go. There you go. Now lock it.
Oh my god.
Good. Sailing. That was cool.
Those playful, fair-weather sailing days changed when we bought Shanto. Mainly because we were either getting Shanto ready to sail somewhere far, or we were already sailing there.
Let me know what you need.
Alright. Just keep a lookout on my sides. The Chesapeake Bay presented us with those fair weather sailing days again, and that was one of the most exciting things about being here. We thought we'd bring you along as we practice sailing Shanto while explaining the ways we work our sails and such.
All right, so we're in the South River right now on our way to the bay, and today our goal is to just sail our head sail and our mainsail, and we'll just see what the wind is like and just go out there and have fun, and as we do it, we'll tell you what we're doing. So the first thing we're going to do now that we're getting closer to where we need to be is pull out our mainsail. We'll sail into the wind, of course. The way our system works, we have a furling mainsail. We have an outhaul here, which will pull the sail out. In order to pull the sail out with the outhaul, we have an inhaul, which we'll have to release, which is what turns the foil. So the process would basically be release the inhaul, set the outhaul up on the winch, and then start pulling the sail out. Once we have the sail all the way pulled out, what we'll start doing is cranking down the outhaul a bit so that we pull the clew of the sail down a little closer to the boom, and we'll trim it that way.
So we're gonna sail head this way and then just like tack back north?
Yeah. Yep.
Alright.
I'll let you know when I'm right into the wind.
Alright.
A little more. Right there, that's good.
Alright, so we're going to take the headsail out now. We have a furling headsail, so we'll open the jib furler clutch and I'll pull on the sheet back here that's around the winch and we'll let the sail come out on our port side. Ready?
Yep. Right now we're on a beam. Right now what we're going to do is try to sail as close haul as we can. You saw we had that head sail pulled in really tight. It's not trimmed for our angle right now. We're sailing at 33 degrees wind angle. I want to try to get as tight as I can, but before we do that we need to pull the boom in just a bit because the sheet is out. So in order to pull the boom in, we can't do that with the sheet because it will just pull the boom down. So what I'm going to do is we'll turn into the wind a little bit and we'll pull the traveler over so to pull the boom into the middle, and the main sheet can stay exactly where it is. So we'll do that right there. We'll pull the boom into the middle, the traveler. So right now we're probably got the sails trimmed about as tight as we can get it, so we're gonna see what this boat will do. We've never really played around like that. Let's try 27 degrees.
Ultimately, we're just trying to see how Shanto sails best. Like sailing at 27 degrees, it does it. I'm surprised, but I think a little more like 30 is going to be better, maybe even more than that.
Ready to tack?
Ready.
You almost have it trimmed perfect already.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
We spent the summer practicing points of sail, sail combinations, trimming the sails, tacking, and jibing. While we were having fun, we were also being very methodical in our approach to understanding how Shanto sails best. Another first was using our autopilot to sail to the wind angle. The reason for not doing this sooner was our wind transducer was constantly breaking, but we finally fixed it for good. This is now one of our favorite ways to sail, as we can trim our sails for a specific wind angle while our autopilot adjusts for slight wind shifts, allowing us to just relax.
Our telltales are all telling us we've got the sail somewhat trimmed right, but the top of the sail is spilling wind off the sail. So what you'll see is the top of the sail comes in like this, but the top comes in, but then the last 8 inches kind of flips off and the wind's spilling off. So the way we can fix that is we just move the location of this car up. So, and what that does is it affects the sail twist. You'll hear people talking about sail twist. Well, they're talking about twisting the leech of the sail. So essentially what I'll do is move the car to right about here, and that'll turn that sail in. So I'll show you an example of just stepping on it. That sheet. Now if you look up now, you'll see the twist came in. So it's catching more wind. And that's basically how we would trim this sail for a beam reach. So what I'll do is just let off that. And I'll go ahead and pull this car up a bit and catch more wind. Okay, so we're gonna rig up our Spinnaker, which is pretty simple, all things considered, since it's a big sail. We have an asymmetrical Spinnaker. It's a top-down furling Spinnaker, which means it has a furler, a sheet, of course. But to do this, it's pretty simple. We'll attach a halyard to the top of the Spinnaker, and we'll attach the bottom of the Spinnaker to a D-ring on our bow roller. I'm sure there's more official names for all that. And then we'll just winch up the Spinnaker, tighten it up a little bit. And at that point, that's pretty much it. We'll run the furling line back to the cockpit, and we'll run the sheet back to the cockpit, and it's really that simple. The hardest part of the Spinnaker is just getting it out of the box and lugging it up there. There you have it. Our Spinnaker is rigged and ready to go. One other thing to note is this furling line. You do want to tie this to something so your sail doesn't accidentally unfurl if you were to catch a bunch of wind. I don't think in our case today that's going to be an issue. Alright, so we've adjusted our course to where we're going to go for most of the day, where we'll be sailing to for the next couple of hours. We're at a 60-degree true wind angle and about 10-11 knots of wind, so that is perfect weather for us to pull our Spinnaker out. I would say if it's any more wind, we might not pull the Spinnaker. It's a little colder, so colder wind has a little more force, but that's about it. So we'll start pulling this thing out now. So pulling our Spinnaker is pretty easy. You just got to do a couple things. One, release the furling line so that it releases the furling drum, which will allow us to pull the sheet out, pull the Spinnaker out. And then the second thing is just get the sheet ready to go. I'm not going to use a winch for this, I'm just going to pull. Which is why I put on gloves, because I've done this before without the winch, and I ended up with a lot of blisters. So.
It's coming.
Let's start coming out right now. There we go. Get that guy wrapped. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Thing we got to do is get this tight enough. Back wind in it a bit. There we go. Huh. Looks pretty good.
Our Spinnaker was a sort of mystical creature that never left our lazarette. Maybe it was the fear of getting in trouble with such a large sail. But we've learned it's quite an easy sail to use in the right conditions. As a general rule, we'll fly our Spinnaker in under 12 knots apparent wind, on a close reach to a broad reach, and when we don't need to tack much.
So we've finished with our sail today, and we're going to take down the Spinnaker. The way we do that is it's pretty simple. We're going to turn into the wind a little bit. We'll probably get around 30 degrees wind angle, but more important, we'll just listen for the sail and just kind of look for it and see once it gets a little floppy. And at that point, I'll start furling in the sail. And Mandy will have the sheet, and she'll just kind of let it out as I furl it in. The one thing that is going to be a little wacky is our furling line's here, and our sheet is here, and we have one winch. So sometimes I just pull the furling line in by hand, and it's a lot of work. I've done that once today when we kind of tacked and turned northeast a bit, so I don't feel like doing it again. So what I'm going to do is something we haven't tried before. I'm just going to run this sheet to our winch up here and give it to Mandy, and then I'm going to get the furler onto this winch here. And if it doesn't work, I'll just take it off the winch and start pulling it in by hand. Yep, that's perfect. Love that. Put it out. Whew.
Easy with not a lot of wind.
Wow. Whew. I'm tired. I think that's the most workout I've done in a month.
Brian and I have fun sailing on any boat. And no matter how many times we get out there, we still continue to learn and improve. Our time in the Chesapeake is nearing its end as we prepare to sail back to the Bahamas and beyond. If you want to see more of that journey, make sure you subscribe. And thanks for watching.